Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. We are here for episode 5 of season 2 of Behind the Bouquet, and I'm here with the incredible Sara Keller, owner of Gracious Goodies. This is a must check out company for all welcome bag needs and more that we'll talk about. You have really found a niche in this wedding industry.
Thanks.
And I honestly had no idea that it went back 12 years.
I know, it's crazy when I think of that actually, because when I started, I didn't even know kind of that anyone else was doing it. I don't think anyone else really was.
Were welcome bags a big thing back then?
No, I mean, I did travel for weddings and we got a few things, but honestly it was like whatever brochure you found at the front desk at the hotel and a bag of like tiny, the little pretzels and maybe nuts and a water, that was it. We would fight over, who was going to get what out of the bag. But it was not, even when I started doing this as a business, it was not at all what it is now and what it's grown into. It was a small thing.
And I'm guessing partly because of you. Are most of your clients like New York based? And I'm sure other companies you have popped up all over, but do you have inquiries from like LA or anything?
I do. I mean, for sure the bread and butter of the business is definitely in New York primarily, but we do get inquiries from everywhere and we ship. We have a client, one of the New York baseball teams, and we ship for them wherever they're, and it's really fun actually. But like they do spring training, we've done that with them for like 5 years, and it's always something different, which is really fun. They had a game in Toronto a few years, and Chicago, and we've definitely done things all over.
Give the players welcome?
So it's not the players, it's actually like for the people who do the box seats, and so who travel with the team, like to go to the games.
Right.
And
it's like diehard fans.
Yeah.
And
so
money
it's special.
Spenders.
Yes, the big spenders, yeah. So it's really fun. We get to do all different cities. It's the same client, but all different places. So it's nice to know what they like most of the time.
Landing that client, you must have popped a bottle of like really expensive champagne.
It's really funny because, like we were saying, not a lot of people were doing it, and I would just send these like random emails to people. I don't even know how I found them, which you think, how do you not find them? They're panties. But I sent an email and I got a phone call and she was like, oh my God, I sometimes do this on my own. I don't know anyone who's doing it. I'm like, me.
And then
so
she was like one of the admins?
I think she was just like a manager of box suites. And she just would call, and even now she'll just be like, hey, so we have a game and we're going to send it. So I don't do it for every game, of course. And if they do, they might do some other options. But it's been, let me think. I've been 5-6 years with them off and on. Yeah, it's nice. It's so nice.
And you hit on something because even this person who it's part of her job was assembling these gift boxes. They are so time consuming. When like my team does it, like it honestly is like a 2 to 3 hour event, just like putting the stuff in the box.
Oh, 100%.
And who has 2 to 3 hours?
Not when you're planning everything else that you're doing. For me, it's the one thing we do. So for us, we're very efficient. Get it in, we get it out. But when you're working on an entire wedding or whatever event you're planning, it's a lot. And then delivering it too. That takes like a whole day in itself.
And the hotels are never happy that you're there. And
no, they're so happy when you show up. They love it. No, there's a lot, and that is a good tip actually for anyone who's doing it, because the hotels are probably the hardest part of anything. They all have different rules. Where you can pull up, where you can bring it in, service entrance, front entrance.
I know.
Like if they charge a fee, they don't charge a fee. Some don't want to be responsible for the bags because if someone doesn't get it, and we always call before to let them know we're coming and get the heads up. But sometimes you get someone at the front who just doesn't know, and it's hard. I had one bad issue out of Montauk. They had so many different rooms, and 150 or 200. I'll never forget I think it was the sister of the bride or someone who lived in California called me 2 weeks after the wedding because I guess she found that I knew I did it and thought I worked at the hotel though, and screamed at me because one of her friends didn't get one. I know. And I was like, I am so sorry, but
do you hand deliver to the room or you? No, you just drop at the concierge.
We bring to the concierge. We bring the list. I don't leave. They always check to make sure they have each person. Sometimes they don't, and then I have to
then it's a backtrack.
Scramble of, I call the planner or whoever I'm working with, where do I go, what do I do, I'm going to leave it here, so for me, once delivery is complete, once I've sort of left the front desk area and gotten back into my car and driven off. But like, you know, I always get phone calls after, not always, but if there's an issue or a question, I always leave my card and, you know, we'll help out, but no, we don't bring it to the room.
So how has the company evolved, you know, since making your first welcome box 12 years ago? Did you do it in a paper bag? Did you do it in a box that you still use today sometimes? Or?
So, funny enough, when I started it, I didn't want to do anything like gift baskets. I had this joke like, you're never gonna see cello in anything. You're never gonna have a big cello bag wrapped with a giant ribbon.
It gets crinkly, and you can only package so many in a truck.
Yeah, it just felt very. I don't use the word. It felt old-fashioned a lot, and I wanted it to be something really pretty and fun. And I look back sometimes at these like wedding shows, and I only have boxes with really fun, colorful ribbon, but they were cheap boxes. They were inexpensive, which is fine because most people aren't taking them home, and they look just as beautiful when they're all wrapped.
They're packing. So by an inexpensive box, you mean a box that
ships flat. Yeah. It's cardboard inside. It's
not as heavy as.
It's not rigid and firm and full. Which I mean, that's probably the biggest evolution is just the quality of products that we use. Because
I love these boxes.
I do too. I love them so much. You have no idea. I have so many different kinds of boxes. I'm
looking around. This is like.
I know
this is too much for me.
But that's probably the biggest thing is the quality. But I pretty much started with boxes. I really, and still to this day, always try to put people into that because it's like a gift, and that's sort of kind of how we see it. And when I pull up to the hotels, people do always come over. Am I getting one of those?
I know.
And, you know, not to say that when you bring a bag like these bags, and again, everything is a little bit elevated. We try to not just do your simple shopping bag, but something a little bit more interesting and exciting. Like this bag is thick and it's pretty, and it doesn't just look like a simple.
It really is
shopping
bag.
bag.
I got this in, you know.
Right? Would you be like, oh, this is gonna be a nice wedding?
This is like a designer. Like you walk out with your Jimmy Choo's.
Right? It's like really pretty. Yes, it's definitely a good quality, nice bag. And if someone wants to do a bag, I try to gear it this way.
The paper bags are a no-no. They crinkle, they rip.
They put the tissue in, and the tissue never looks.
You know, as soon as you do it, like it will never look like that again.
No, it won't. And and people will say things like, "Oh, the crinkle," or the tissue rather. And I remember last summer I went to the Hamptons with an entire thing of tissue paper because I knew once I got there it was going to be a disaster. Yeah. And I was in the back room. They didn't want me there. But I didn't care, and I literally had to restuff all the bags just to put a little zhuzh into each one because I wouldn't have time to do everything all there, and they wouldn't let me. But I needed to make it look nice.
I know.
So boxes are always, from the beginning till now, is always what I've.
Jesse and I have been known to do it in either the back of our cars or parking lots. You know,
I have a lot of pullover pictures on the side of the road fixing boxes and
wind.
Yeah, something fell and then you have to redo it.
Is there an art to tying a bow? I mean, because my bows don't look like that.
Yes, actually, I learned a really good lesson a long time ago, and I'm a little bit crazy about my bows. I said that before, and I do think there is a very simple way, but it's yes.
Okay, maybe one day you can show me.
I can totally show you, and once you like get it, you're like, oh, that's actually makes sense.
Because then I'm always the one that's like pulling both sides and cutting a little bit because it's not even. It's just a disaster.
No, I can fix that for you immediately. Solutions.
Are there, I know you have a huge New York following and a lot of New York brides, you know, or clients just reaching out to you to help with their welcome bags. So you work with like a staple list that you usually include. Can you share some, you know, New York staples that people go crazy over?
Oh, yeah. Well, we brought some out.
What do you know?
It's interesting. We definitely have a list, but it's always changing because there are so many vendors in New York and new ones and small ones, and I love the small little artisan finds.
And how do you find them? Is it like
I'm constantly online on Instagram, just out and about, and anytime I see something, I just take a picture and then I go back, and you know, it's like anything else. It's like you go down that rabbit hole of the internet, and you just all of a sudden I'm on Instagram and I'm like layers deep, and I'm like,
you're buying 150 like chocolates.
Right, and then I'll email the vendor and they're like, how'd you find us? I'm like, it's a great question, but you know, you get really deep into it. But Hal's actually didn't always make these. They just did the drinks and they started
seltzers.
Yeah, And I find these to be, my son, this is the one thing he sneaks, which he's not allowed, but he does it anyway. They are delicious. And they're so perfectly packaged from New York. They even say New York corn on it. So it's all about the packaging with everyone. I mean, obviously I don't want items that don't taste good, but they have to look really good. So.
Absolutely. We use these and then North Fork.
Yes, North Fork is so great, especially for the Hamptons, especially with the box of Tate's cookies. Those are like staples. Yeah, Hamptons popcorn is also a really good one. They taste really good. They have so many flavors, and it's a perfect combo to the whole chips, cookies, popcorn. Funny enough, this sometimes we've done as favors for people because it's so pretty for like a bridal shower. Little cellar.
Where is the chocolate?
Where's the chocolate?
Yeah, where's it from?
Oh, Marie Bell.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, and it's a pricey chocolate bar, and that's a lot of times we try to find out budgets, which some people don't know, but I don't want to recommend a $10 chocolate bar if you don't want that, but you can get a Fifth Avenue bar, which totally fits your theme of New York, and it's like $2 or $3. It's not an expensive item, and it looks so cute. It tastes great also. But then there's like Louis Sherry, which is so classic New York too. And they're beautiful and packaged and
gorgeous.
But they're also, it's a $10. It's 2 little truffles. That's it. You're not getting all.
But they're delicious.
Beautiful. When you have it in a beautiful box and it's all packaged and it just looks. And they have every color of these tins. That's every color. So they're really fun. And then I love the Good Batch. They have the best. This is brown butter salty. Their cookies are insane, and they're baked in Brooklyn. It's a small company also, and I love. They're always so nice and they're great. And I feel like. It's nice when you find a company too when they're still on the smaller side. Yeah. And then they grow too. I don't have them here, but Fatty Sundays is one of them. I met them when their mom was involved, and I met their mom in a Starbucks to get my order. And I sat down with her and we talked, and she was telling me about her daughters. And I see them now at the gift show, and I'm like, here you guys are, and your dad is there. And they're like, you were one of our very first clients. And now they're like, so nice. It's so fun to find that. It's nice for them, and it definitely feels good for me.
They have great packaging, Fatty Sundays.
Amazing, and they do so much custom stuff too. We've done a couple of corporate client orders with them with logos and everything, and it's super. It always looks so good. Yeah, and they're in the boxes with everything else. I love them.
And so for something like this, you can even go further the New York theme and put them in a tote bag that says with the New York skyline or something. Yeah. So you can really go anywhere.
Yeah, we have those over there, the totes with the skyline. We use matte tote a lot. Those are such a good classic staple item, and people use them after all the time.
What do you think about putting alcohol in your welcome bag?
So we do it, not all the time. I think it's such a fun, festive item to have. So I don't know if it's getting used. So if you are on a tighter budget, I would put your dollars into something else. But that being said, it's so fun to have. I mean, I don't know if I would be in my hotel room just sipping, a mini champagne. But if it's there, I probably would. I wouldn't think to do it, but if it's there, we use the Wolfer wines a lot. The little ones, those are so great.
The Montauk beers are good.
Yeah, there's so many sitting right behind you. No one's here. I just put extras.
She doesn't really do work. She does
never. No work. I just eat and drink all day long.
So aside from food items, what other things are important to go into welcome bags? I would suggest, a timeline, of events just to remind people because they probably didn't bring their invitation or anything. And shuttle times. Yes. And then do you also do a separate one for bridal party,
It depends. A lot of times the brides or the planners will directly send us their itinerary. We don't often create it. We have, but it's typical. They have it all set and done already, and they'll give us certain ones for certain bags. So that is another thing that gets complicated at the hotels and making sure they were coordinating who gets what because you don't want someone who's not invited to something to get invited and then it gets messy. So we do try to urge people to keep everything as generic as possible. But that being said, it's nice to have the personal touch. So the itineraries are great and they can definitely be specific. The emergency kits are, they're great to have because I'm always somewhere and I'm like, I need Advil. It's such a or you need a nail file at the last minute. We offer these wine wipes. I don't know if you've ever used them. They're for your teeth.
Oh my gosh,
so if you have
amazing.
Red wine, they clean your teeth a little bit.
I love
that. I have so many. I take them with me every time I go out on the weekend. Or during the week, or when I'm sitting here drinking alone. So those I think are a really good staple. And then something fun. I like to tell people is putting in like a scratch off.
Oh, that is
like,
cute.
I don't like scratch offs. I do at least, and I think they're such a fun item. And just, it's just a fun thing to have that's extra. And a couple of clients have put in Uber cards. That's become a new thing lately, more popular, which I think is so great to people because if they're there for the weekend, they don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
They're gonna hop in a hotel, but it's in a cab, but it's so nice to just have sort of that Uber card.
Yeah.
It's
People
nice
always appreciate. I think like we mentioned before, if you arrive to like the hotel after traveling for coming to a wedding, to arrive to this is so nice. It makes them feel so appreciated.
Oh my God.
The thousands of dollars they're probably spending on getting here.
Because you spend so much extra to travel to an event, and it's nice to get a little something extra to show the appreciation. It's kind of how I started doing this. Really, there have been so many weddings that we went to, but I worked in business planning and development before this at luxury retailers, and I was the watch buyer at Cartier, and I was pregnant, but nobody else knew I was pregnant. It was very early on, and I had traveled to Switzerland, and then I had a personal trip, and then I went to Phoenix, and I had traveled a ton for work, and I never got one thing ever. Even for the other jobs I had had at different companies, I was always on the road, and I got to Phoenix, and there was this big tote bag. I still have it to this day. It said Cartier. It had a giant bottle of water, a towel, and snacks, and I almost passed out because I was so pregnant, needed it so badly. It was late when I got in. I was starving, and I was so appreciative just that it was there because I hadn't gotten anything, and it just meant so much. And that's sort of, I asked around, I'm like, who did this? What company? And it was the girls in PR that wound up thinking, was like, oh, we thought it would be a cute idea. Someone in the office was getting married and was doing welcome bags. So it was just sort of, and that was
the thought that
kind of the beginning of that planted the seed. And I started asking around, and 2 different people came into my office and shut the door and was like, if you're going to do this, I'll do it with you. So I'm like, oh, I guess it's a good idea. I should maybe do it. And then I went on bed rest. And I wrote my business plan in bed, to tell you the truth.
How'd you come up with gracious goodies?
Honestly, I just went back and forth so many times, and I was like, well, it's so nice when you do it. It's like a gracious thing, and you're doing goodies, and it sounds so easy now, but I don't think that's probably how it came out. But I do remember just like lying in bed trying to go to sleep and just constantly just thinking, and I'm like, gracious goodies. Oh, does that sound good? And sort of kept it. Yeah. It said exactly what it is.
And I think you really hit on a point, like with the events and weddings have become more like about the experience. Of course, there has to be an Instagrammable moment in most cases, but that aside, that's another subject. It's about creating an experience for every guest that's there.
Yes.
And so this is just another part of that. Guest counts are coming down, bridal parties are coming down, so it's just about like being in the moment, which is so important to keep in mind. And,
absolutely.
Receiving and gifting, like this is such a beautiful thing.
Thank you. I think it's great. It's definitely, but it is very an added touch, and it's something that, like we were saying before, you could do on your own, but it's hard. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of, you get this from one place, this from another, then you need a box, you need to get ribbons, you need labels, you want to put tissue or crinkle or whatever
just
it is.
The amount of like Amazon boxes that you receive,
I get boxes.
It's just a lot. And
my husband has a full-time job, and in addition to that, his job is breaking down boxes, and our garage just something we are busy, especially over the summer, or really all the time. There's just, it's crazy how I could hire someone just to break down the boxes that come in.
I'm sure.
I think my garbage men hate me, but I have to give them fake holidays every year. But it's just a lot. So it's a lot to do. You can certainly do it on your own. Absolutely, it's nice and it's personal too. But
you won't tie the bow like that.
Yeah, no, you won't. I'm sorry. You can come here, I'll show you first, and then maybe. But it's hard, and it takes a lot of time, and you have a lot of other things. I know when I got married, both times, all I cared about was my dress and my hair and my nails. The last thing I was going to do was start schlepping to 6 different hotels and making sure each person got, it's a lot of work. So,
and then I also, so on this, I guess, term of like consciousness about like weddings and events, Have you seen an up in green, like how to be green with this or eco-friendly?
To be honest, not that many people have asked for that. I've had Andrew, one client had that important to her, so she wanted that incorporated. But the best way we do that is using some of the recyclable bags, like from Bagoo.
Mm-hmm.
They're, I think, so great, and I mean, I actually have them in my car. I use them when I go to the grocery store. So things like that, so that we don't use a paper bag or even a box. But with the items themselves, I mean, you know, they're kind of hard to make a little bit more sustainable in that sense. So it's really more, I guess, in the packaging that we've done that.
Yeah.
And just using the reusable bags.
Cool.
If I could think of other ways to do it, I would love to.
It's a new company.
Maybe the paper waters is another one.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the box waters.
I've seen an uptake in that, like the paper. I don't really recommend the plastic bottles anymore.
Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't using plastic as much, for sure. You can't everywhere, obviously, with the bags now, but the plastic bottles, they're so easy, but the paper ones look better, and they taste, I mean, they're water. I don't think, maybe it's a mind thing, I don't think it tastes any different, and they look really nice, and they definitely help as far as, you know, the environment.
Yeah, I guess it went into effect yesterday, the plastic bag. And I was just like walking around my town, and like you saw everybody with like their reusable bags out, and it was so nice, actually.
So in Suffolk, it's been for a long time that you could still have bought them for the 5 cents, but I went to the supermarket yesterday and I brought my reusable bag, but I got more than, of course, I thought I was getting, so I had to get one of the papers. It was this giant brown paper bag. I'm like, I had one other bag. I didn't even bring a cart, so I'm like carrying this giant thing. I'm definitely gonna stick to bringing all my reusable.
Yeah, you just have to remember to put them in the car.
I know that's.
I'm like that person who's crazy. I will like carry out items to not use the plastic bag, but I guess I can't use it anymore.
I know.
Do you want to give a shout out to your website or Instagram handle?
Oh, sure. Everything is Gracious Goodies, so it's graciousgoodies.com. Same thing on Instagram, Gracious Goodies. Those are the two things that I always recommend people look at, because on Instagram we always have recent projects. Some things we don't post because try to keep some stuff private, but most of the times you can find things there.
And Sara is so wonderful, and can't wait to see what this year brings.
Me too. Very excited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.